The Vivo X Fold 5 and the Honor Magic V3, two premium foldables in the industry right now, and in my view, two of the top in the industry. And it's my intent to cover these thoroughly and give you the pros and cons about each, and want to stay tuned to the end where I give you my full opinion on which one I prefer. Now, throughout this video, you need to keep in mind, this is a Chinese version, this is a global version, so there will be some differences with the global release on this, which I believe just happened. I don't have that phone, but I've done my best to convert this pretty much to global use. Now, to start with, both of these phones folded, the dimensions, they are both 9.2 millimeters thick folded. But as you can see here, looking at them, you can't see a whole lot of difference. Not in this top-down view. But what you can see in this view, you've got the Vivo right here and the Honor here. The Honor is a little bit wider, and that gives it a little bit wider view on the main external screen and even on the internal. However, when you look at them this way, you can see that the Vivo is actually taller. So it has a longer and taller profile. So when you open it up, and especially when you go landscape, you do get a better view on the Vivo, and we'll cover that here in a second. Now, they both have that really slim line hinge, which is really nice, and they both have that same similar clean look. Now, you can see here on the protrusions, the camera bumps, if you would, on both of them are pretty big, and the Vivo is actually a little bit larger in diameter. So if camera bumps bother you, you can eat fast on both of these phones. But they don't seem to bother me whatsoever. When you're holding the phone like this, your finger just kind of rests right on it, and it kind of helps hold them up, keep them from sliding in your hand, which I do appreciate. Now, switching the brightness on the screens, you got the external screen on the Z Fold 6, Honor Magic in the middle, and the Vivo on the right. And these are all set for automatic brightness. I didn't do any adjustments on them. And as you can see, even on the internal screen, they all do well. The Vivo is actually the brightest of the three, and you can see that because it actually even looks a little washed out, but part of that's because of the background. Now, what's great at both of these, they both come with cases. They're very similar. The hinge protection on both of them I really appreciate. Now, the Vivo, or the Honor, comes with a kickstand on theirs. The Vivo does not. I really do appreciate the kickstand. And both phones also come with charging bricks and cables, so that's a really good bonus compared to any, where I live, US brands that have left out the charging brick, which I don't appreciate. Now, the Vivo actually has an additional button on the outside, which is really nice. You can see it here. It is a programmable button. You can use it to mute it, or I use it to mute it. If you do a double press with it, it'll turn on the flashlight, and then you double press it again, turns it off. So that's a really nice function of that side button. Now, they both have really nice screens on the outside, but you could definitely see a difference in size here. The Honor Magic is a little bit wider, and I kind of like it because it gives you a little more space, a little more room, and your icons are a little bigger, larger on the Vivo, simply because it does have more space. And as far as the bezel goes on both of them, they are very minimal, which I really appreciate. And they both have the selfie camera punch out right there on the front. You can't see it on the Honor Magic simply because it's hidden by the dark background. Now, both of these phones have really nice features where you got a side menu here on both, and you can do some stuff on the side menu. And I have other videos that will be showing those features here in the future, but just to say, they do have matching side menus, which is really nice. And you can actually use those to do split screen and multitasking, and I'll demonstrate that in a moment. Now, what's really good about these, and I really appreciate, is you can enlarge the folders, as you can see here on both of them, and place anything and customize this any way you want. Now, the Vivo actually goes one step further, and you can see right here, that placement of that folder is just a little elongated instead of squared like the rest of them. You can't do that on the Honor Magic V3. It's just large or small, as you can see a sample of both here. Now, you can place widgets on both of them, which I do enjoy doing. Although in the beginning, when I've got the Vivo, because it's a Chinese ROM, I had difficulty getting widgets set up, but I have figured that out, and I'll show you that in a bit. Now, let's just go ahead and jump into the inside screens and check those out. Now, both of these phones, when you set them down, they kind of wobble quite a bit. I put that in there to keep them from wobbling during this demonstration, but there's really no way around that because of that big camera bump. So as you can see here, looking at both screens, they have a really good layout, and I like the fact that you can do a news feed on the side of both of them. But here's one of the first cons on the Vivo is One is when you open that up, you get a full screen here on the automatic, which I really like, and you got all your news feeds, and you can program what you want to see. And that's kind of what I expected over here, but it's not the case. I cannot program, and the reason why, these are all in Chinese, as you can see, and that doesn't really help me much, but there is a feature on this phone that does kind of help a little bit. You go here and you pull out the side menu, and it has an AI reader, or where's that AI translator? Right there, global translator. You could take this and you just click on it, and it'll do a full screen translate. And what it'll do is scan the screen there, and if you watch, they translate to English so that I can read it. Now, what's really nice about it is when you move this, see, everything goes back to Chinese, but it will automatically start to translate it for me. And I guess it's going up to the web, getting the information or whatever it needs to do to translate it. So it does translate the stuff, but it's not the same as just grabbing an article and reading it. Now, that may not be an issue in the global version. I don't know yet if you've received this global version yet, or please go ahead and let us know in the comments. Now, while I'm on the topic of cons, let's go ahead and cover another one, because I want to get those out of the way, because there's a lot of pros. When it comes to messaging, you have to use their native messaging app. For some reason, I cannot get Google Messages to work, so that means your RCS feeds are gone. Now, I don't know if they have a Chinese version of that or not, but on their messaging system, it's not there. As you can see here, I thumbed up emoji this message here, and when it came back, it says, testing message, got a thumb up, when typically it should show up just like you see here on the Honor Magic V3 if you have RCS turned on. Now, that is a small thing, to be honest. Messages still work. That's not a big issue. Now, let's get into some multitasking. So let's go ahead and open up the same apps on both these. Let's open up YouTube, and then we'll go ahead and open up a second app. Now, to do it on either one, it's a little different. On the Vivo, you could just take this and slide it and put it to the side, which I think is really nice. And then it opens up and you can go to all your other apps. And I'm going to go ahead and just open up the Play Store right there. And then over here, you can take 3 fingers and just swipe up, and it will open it up. And it'll move the entire phone as well. So once you do that, then you can go in and just hit Play Store. And now you can see it's got them on both sides. Now, on both these, you can open up a third app, and it's a floater app on both these. And this is how it works. Simply from the sidebar here, you can take and just tap on an app, and it'll float there. With this one on the sidebar, you can do the same thing. You just take and touch the app, and now you have the floater. And what's really cool is if you want to, you just tap the minus button once you're done using it, and it goes to the side here. And they both fade out and just kind of remain there till you need them. And I tested it. You can do up to 5 apps. You could probably do more, but you could put actually 5 apps there, stackable on the side. Now, that's the only way to get 3 apps going on the automatic V3. So now the Vivo X Fold 5 has an additional feature, which is really cool. It's called Workbench. You go here from the corner, and you just slide it up, and look at that. The main app that you had been working on shows up front and center right here, which is really nice. And it's the full app. You can work it, and then everything else is right here on the side, working on the side. And you can actually turn it on, so it's working on the side here. You can hear the volume here going.
Go ahead and give you a review and tell you what.
And it's continuing
you want to stick around
to work here on the side, even when you're in another app and using it. So you can go back and forth, and it's really nifty. It's very quick. And you can replace any of these at any time from the side menu, or by long pressing down here, you can do it from your bottom menu here, or you can go ahead and just open up your app drawer there and grab a new app and drag it over and place it in. Now over here, you can go ahead and pull up your dock and drag any of these apps in replacement as well. For example, let's go ahead and replace it with Google Chrome, and it replaces it. Not a problem. And then, of course, on both of them, you can actually size this a little bit to give you a larger app on one side. Now, all those things I just showed you on the Honor Magic, you could do over here on the Vivo, but you have this additional Workbench feature, which really puts it above the rest. I'll give you a link at the end of this video on using this Workbench even more. Now, folks were asking me about the speed of this thing on the network. Let me show you here my network speeds. First off, here I am connected. I'm not connected to my home network over here, but I am over here. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. And as you see, they both have the same setup for the control panel as well. Just swipe from the top. Now let's go ahead and test both of these. I use the same app on both of them. It's the Speed Test app. and we'll go ahead and get them both started. Now, this is the cellular signal, and we have a tower about half a mile from me here. And look at these speeds. Now, it could be that the Vivo has more bands within the phone, so it's getting higher speeds. Let's check back in, and you can see here they're still going. The ROM V3 is done with this test, so you can see the Vivo is a lot faster download. They're very compatible on upload, and I can tell you when I get closer to the tower, there's a lot faster upload speeds. I think it's close to 100, but the ROM V3 does not hit those numbers like the Vivo does. Now, I think the reason is because the Vivo has more radio bands than the ROM V3, even though this is a global version and the Vivo is not. Now, apparently the ROM V5 is going to have more radio bands within it, and I'm certainly hoping so, because these are much better speeds. Now let's go ahead and turn Wi-Fi on both of them, and I'm only going to run the test on one at a time, otherwise they kind of interfere with each other's performance. So we'll go with the Vivo first. We'll go ahead and let it run, and let's see how it does. It's doing really good. It's pulling, almost 300. My download speeds here on my router, which is only 15 feet or so away from me here, is about 400. So 309 wireless, that's not bad. On the wired, I do get the top speeds, and it's supposed to be 10 upload, and on wireless I got that 11 speed. Let's go over here and do it on the Vivo now and see what the difference is, if there is any difference. You can see the Vivo's actually a little faster now. Now again, I don't know if that happens to be the radio bands is in this, or Wi-Fi radio. Maybe some of you know, but look at that, the Vivo does much better, and so better performance on the Vivo as far as internet. Now let's take a quick moment and talk about connection to things like watches. I have the Samsung Watch Ultra. I also have the Apple Watch as well, and the Vivo will not connect to either one of them. So it's not prejudiced against one or the other. It won't connect to any of them. I think you have to get a Chinese version watch to get it to connect. Now it's supposed to connect to the Apple Watch and the Apple Mac and do an screen extender. I have not been able to get any of those features to work as of yet. If you look at all the videos, it's all done in Chinese. Now, maybe it'll work better with the global version, or maybe now that they got the global version out, they'll be putting up apps in the App Store, the Google App Store, but I have not found anything as of today. Whereas the ROM V3 works fine with my Android watches. I have not tried to use my Apple Watch on it simply because you lose so many features and functions when you do. So I just leave that connected to the iPhone. And once I get more confirmation that everything works with the Vivo, again, I will try it. Now I'm going to show you on both of these phones the software versions. You got Magic 9 or Magic OS version 9 here on the ROM V3. So we got Origin OS 5 over here on the Vivo. It looks like Orion OS 5, but it is Origin. And they both have the Snapdragon Gen 3 chip in them, as you can see here. These are both 512 gigabyte version models, and they both have large batteries. This one is a 6,000 milliamp hour battery versus a 5,100 milliamp hour battery here on the ROM V3. And look at the RAM. The RAM on the Vivo is 16 gigs because I got the 512 model, and you've got 12 gigs on the ROM V3. But with both of these, you can extend that RAM. You can see the plus there, plus 12, plus 16. You can extend that and use storage space to expand the RAM on both of these phones, which really benefits in speed and processing of these phones. That's probably why the ROM V3 seems to outperform all my other Gen 3 phones until now, because the Vivo X Fold 5 has that extra RAM. It is a little bit faster than my ROM V3. I'll let another video run some speed tests as far as processing between these and the Z Fold 7 when it comes out. Now let's take a quick look at the cameras on both of these. The cameras look very similar and they function the same. Look at that. The whole UI looks the same. The interface looks the same on both of them, and they really do work pretty much the same. And you can go back and forth between both of them without an issue. Now, when it comes to the cameras, well, the Vivo just outshines the ROM, I think, simply because of that Zeiss camera. It's really clear. If you look at the two of them here, the ROM takes really nice photos. But of course, when you do compare them against the Vivo you can see is a bit brighter and actually makes it a little bit clearer, especially when you go into digital zoom. Look at the digital zoom here on the ROM V3. It looks really nice. It's a great digital image. As a matter of fact, I think it performs better than the S25 Ultra in its 10 times zoom. And then when you look at the Vivo Fold, my goodness, it's this next level. These Zeiss lenses seem to do a really great job. This thing allows more light in, which gives you more detail. And even when you go into the zoomed in image, which is a digital 10 time, it outshines all the competition, even the dedicated 10 times zoom on the S25 Ultra. Now, when it comes to video, the videos are really good on both of them. However, the Vivo seems to be a little smoother. For some reason, the Honor Magic, as you can see here, it kind of gets a little jerky and doesn't perform real smooth on video when you compare it to the Vivo, which seems to be completely smooth throughout. And this is shooting at 4K at 30 frames per second. Now, the Vivo goes a step up and does 8K video. Not that you need 8K video because there's not a lot of viewership out there for 8K, but at least we know now it is kind of future-proof having that capability. Now, let's cover one more thing that I mentioned earlier, and that's on the Honor Magic V3, and that's widgets. When I got this phone, I could not get Google Play Store widgets to work on this phone, but I've got that resolved now. If you long press the home page, you get into this homepage setup, you go to App Kit here, and you open up App Kit, and here, what I would do is I'd click on it and try to get it to do something with the widget, but it doesn't do anything. You go over here to Origin Kit. Now, you see it's got all these Chinese widgets here and all their Chinese apps here listed. But if you go down to the bottom, which I failed to do before, you can go to App Widgets. Now, I've got all my Google widgets here. And let's just do the calendar, for example. I'll hit Calendar here. And now, these are the Google widgets. So if I hit Add Widget, check this out. There it is. It's on the page. So open up the page. There's the Google widget from the Play Store right there on the Chinese ROM. So now we got working widgets from the Android store or Google store that work on this ROM. Now to give you my impression on both of these phones. You know what? I really enjoy both of them. I prefer the wider external screen on the Honor Magic V3, but the more slender phone on the Vivo fits better in the hand. So it's really a toss-up there. It's kind of hard to decide. Now, when it comes to performance, multitasking, it just blows everything away with that Vivo and that Workbench Center. That's just incredible. I really like doing that. I haven't spent a whole lot of time because I've just got this phone not long ago, about a week ago. But I'm sure using it more and more, I'm going to like multitasking on the Vivo much more. And then the cameras, without a doubt, much more preferred on the Vivo. It does outperform the Honor Magic V3, but we got the V5 coming out soon, which I think will give it a run for the money, and we'll test that when it comes out. Now, the fact that the Honor Magic V3 does have better interface because it is a global model and I can do messages with RCS feeds. I compare it to my watch. I have the news feed that I can read. Everything's in English. Right now, I do prefer the Honor Magic V3 for my daily use. But I do think in time, we'll be able to overcome all those obstacles that I have on the Vivo X Fold 5, and then it won't be a problem. And once those things aren't a problem, I would prefer this phone. And I actually have my doubts that the global version is much different. But this is where I want to hear from you. If you've got the global version or you're getting it, please let us know down in the comments. Are those obstacles that I've had today on this one, are they there on the global version? Whatever I covered, if you can do it on the global version, let us know down in the comments. I want to hear from you. Now, I did create a video on Workbench and all the ins and outs of it. If you want to check out that video, check it out here. Now, I'm going to do a whole lot more with the Vivo X Fold 5 and do a lot more comparisons, especially with the Z Fold 7 when it comes out. But I'm also going to compare it to some of the phones I have today. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss those. Until next time, have a wonderful day and God bless.